The editor's words hung in the air like poison. You're just not what our readers expect on a cover. What Serena Williams did in the next 15 years didn't just prove them wrong, it redefined what beauty looks like for an entire generation. New York City, September 2003. A conference room on the 38th floor of a Manhattan skyscraper. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. The kind of view that costs millions. The kind of room where decisions are made that shape culture, that tell millions of people what's beautiful, what's desirable, what's worthy of being seen. Around a polished mahogany table sit 12 people, 10 of them white, 11 of them thin, all of them dressed in black, the uniform of the fashion industry elite. These are the gatekeepers, the editors, creative directors, and publishers who decide whose face appears on magazine covers, who gets to be aspirational, who gets to represent beauty. On the screen at the front of the room, a PowerPoint presentation. Potential cover subjects for the upcoming year. Actresses, models, musicians, each slide showing a different face, each face fitting a particular mold. Thin, feminine by traditional standards, mostly white, a few token diverse faces, but carefully selected to make white audiences comfortable. Then one slide appears that makes the room uncomfortable. Serena Williams, ranked number 1 in the world, 5 Grand Slam titles already. Wimbledon champion, US Open champion, French Open champion, undeniably the best female tennis player on the planet, undeniably one of the most dominant athletes in any sport. The photo shows her mid-serve, power captured in a single frame, muscles defined, skin glistening with effort, braids flying, face fierce with concentration, absolute athletic perfection. The room goes quiet. The editor-in-chief, a woman named Catherine Ashworth, 52 years old, 27 years in the fashion industry, looks at the slide. Her expression is carefully neutral, that particular kind of neutral that comes from years of delivering rejection wrapped in professionalism. Serena Williams, she says slowly, testing the name like it's foreign. Tennis correct? The junior editor who proposed the cover, one of 2 black people in the room, nods enthusiastically. Yes, she's number 1. She's having an incredible year. Our sports issue could feature. Catherine holds up her hand, the universal gesture for stop talking. I understand her athletic achievements, very impressive, but we need to consider our readership. Our subscribers have certain expectations, a certain aesthetic they respond to. The junior editor's enthusiasm falters, but Serena is incredibly beautiful, and her influence, she's very... Catherine pauses, choosing her words with the precision of someone who knows exactly what she's saying without saying it directly. Muscular. Our covers typically feature more traditionally feminine subjects. Elegant, refined, grace rather than power. Another editor chimes in. Male, 50-something. Tennis coverage doesn't drive sales like fashion or Hollywood. Even if we wanted to feature an athlete, we'd probably go with someone like Maria Sharapova. She has that classic look. That blonde girl-next-door appeal. She models, does endorsements, she's marketable. The junior editor tries one more time. But Serena is marketable. She has endorsement deals. She's breaking records. In tennis, Catherine interrupts. Not in fashion, not in beauty. Those are different worlds. And frankly, she looks at the image on the screen again. Muscular. Black women aren't what our readers aspire to look like. They want to see themselves, or an idealized version of themselves. Serena is other. The word hangs there. Other. The junior editor's face flushes. Not from embarrassment. From anger. From the recognition of what's really being said. That Serena Williams, despite being the best in the world at what she does, despite being objectively beautiful, despite being successful and powerful and influential, isn't the right kind of beautiful for their magazine. Because she's black. Because she's muscular. Because her body represents power instead of fragility. Because she doesn't fit into the narrow definition of femininity that this industry has been selling for decades. The slide is skipped. The meeting continues. Maria Sharapova gets the sports issue cover, despite being ranked lower, despite winning less, despite being by every objective measure, less dominant than Serena Williams. She gets it because she's white, because she's thin, because she looks like what these editors think beauty should look like. 3 weeks later, Serena Williams sits in her manager's office in Los Angeles. The rejection has just been relayed to her, not directly from the magazine, they're too professional for that, but through back channels, through whispers, through the industry grapevine that always finds a way to let you know when you've been passed over. Serena's face shows nothing. She's learned to control her expression, learned that showing hurt gives people power over you. Learned that black women, especially black athletes, have to maintain composure even when the world is telling them they're not enough. But inside, something breaks. Not breaks like shattering. Breaks like a fault line splitting open, creating space for something new to emerge. Her manager, a woman named Janet, who's been with her since she was 17, watches her carefully. "You okay?" Serena is quiet for a long moment. Then she speaks. Her voice is steady, but there's steel underneath. "They said I'm not cover material. They're idiots. They said I'm too muscular, too powerful, that their readers want to see traditionally feminine subjects." She makes air quotes with her fingers. The gesture is sarcastic, but the hurt is real. "That's code for." "I know what it's code for, Janet. I've lived my entire life knowing what it's code for." Janet leans forward. "So what do you want to do? We can push back, get other magazines interested, make noise about this." "No." Serena's voice is firm. "I don't want to fight to be on their cover. I don't want to beg them to see me as beautiful. I don't want to convince them I'm worthy of their definition of aspirational." "Then what?" Serena looks out the window. Los Angeles sprawls below. Millions of people, millions of black girls and women who've been told their entire lives that they're not the right kind of beautiful, that their bodies are too much or not enough, that beauty means thin, delicate European features, straight hair, light skin. "I want to change what beauty means." Janet stares at her. "That's ambitious." "I'm Serena Williams. Ambitious is what I do. What happens next doesn't happen overnight. It happens over 15 years, slowly, deliberately, with the same strategic focus Serena brings to tennis, building point by point, game by game, set by set, until the entire match is won. First, Serena starts her own fashion line. 2004. Anairs, her name spelled backwards. The line celebrates curves, celebrates muscle, celebrates the bodies of women who are strong, not just thin, women who take up space unapologetically. The fashion industry largely ignores it at first. Athlete clothing lines always fail, they whisper. She doesn't understand fashion, she should stick to tennis. But women buy it. Real women. Women who've been told their bodies are wrong. Women who are tired of clothes designed only for size 0. Women who want to feel powerful, not delicate. The line doesn't become a massive financial success overnight. But it plants seeds. It makes statements. It shows that Serena Williams won't stay in her lane just because the fashion world thinks tennis and style shouldn't mix. Then in 2015, something shifts. Serena is 33 years old, still dominant in tennis, still breaking records. She wins her 21st Grand Slam title. She's approaching the all-time record. She's in the best shape of her life. And suddenly, the conversation around her body starts to change. Not because her body changed, but because culture is changing. The body positivity movement is growing. Women are pushing back against impossible beauty standards. Social media gives voice to people who've been excluded from traditional media. Black women, plus-size women, muscular women, all the women who've been told they're other are creating their own platforms, their own definitions of beauty. And Serena Williams is at the center of it. Sports Illustrated puts her on the cover. Not the swimsuit issue, though she'll dominate that too. The main magazine, celebrating her athleticism, her power, her dominance. Then Vogue calls. Not the same editor from Catherine Ashworth is long gone, pushed out during a regime change. The new guard understands that culture has shifted, that exclusion is no longer profitable, that the next generation wants representation, not aspiration to whiteness. But even this progressive editor has concerns. During the preliminary meeting, she keeps using words like accessible and relatable, and we want to show your softer side. Serena listens patiently. Then she says something that changes the entire conversation. "I am soft. I'm also strong. I'm feminine. I'm also powerful. I don't want a cover that shows me as one or the other. I want a cover that shows me as I am. All of it. The athlete, the businesswoman, the black woman who's been told her whole life that she's too much. I want that woman on your cover. Not a watered-down version you think your readers can handle." There's a long pause, then the editor says, "Okay, let's do that." The September 2015 Vogue cover is iconic. Serena in a yellow gown, not hiding her muscles, not posed to look smaller, standing tall, taking up space, looking directly at the camera with an expression that says, "I am beauty," whether you recognize it or not. The issue sells out. Social media explodes. Young black girls post pictures of themselves holding the magazine, crying, seeing themselves represented in a publication that had historically excluded them. But Serena isn't done. Over the next few years, she appears on cover after cover. Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential, each cover pushing boundaries, each cover saying, "This is what beauty looks like too." The 2017 Vanity Fair cover becomes legendary. Serena, 8 months pregnant, naked, holding her belly, powerful, vulnerable, goddess-like. Photographer Annie Leibovitz captures her as Venus de Milo, as Madonna, as every woman and superwoman simultaneously. Critics attack it immediately. Inappropriate, too sexual, not what pregnant women should look like, but millions of women share it, celebrate it. Thanks Serena for showing that pregnant bodies can be beautiful, powerful, sexual, sacred, that black women's bodies don't need to shrink or apologize or conform. Then in 2018, Serena launches her own clothing line with a major retailer, not for athletes, for everyone. Sizes 0 to 24, clothes designed for bodies of all types, marketing campaigns featuring models who look like real women. Diverse in race, size, age, ability. The fashion industry, the same industry that rejected her 15 years earlier, is forced to pay attention, because Serena's line is profitable, because representation sells, because the new generation of consumers wants to see themselves, not some impossible ideal. But the real triumph comes in 2020. Serena receives a call from a journalist writing a retrospective piece about fashion industry racism. The journalist has interviewed dozens of former editors and executives. One of them is Catherine Ashworth. Now retired, Catherine has apparently found religion, or consciousness, or guilt. She's admitting on the record that she rejected Serena Williams for a 2003 cover specifically because Serena didn't fit her narrow definition of beauty. That it was rooted in racism, in colorism, in fear of black women's bodies. The journalist asks Serena if she wants to comment, if she wants to condemn Catherine, if she wants revenge for a slight that happened 17 years ago. Serena thinks for a long time. Then she says something surprising. "I don't need Catherine Ashworth to apologize to me. The apology I needed wasn't from her, it was from an industry, and I didn't wait for them to give it. I took it, by building my own platforms, by defining beauty on my own terms, by showing millions of girls who look like me that they don't need permission from white women to be beautiful." She pauses. Catherine represents a dying era, an era where a small group of people got to decide what beauty meant for everyone. That era is over, not because they changed, because we stopped asking for their approval. The quote goes viral. Young activists share it. Fashion students analyze it. Women's studies professors teach it, because it captures something fundamental about power and representation and change. Real change doesn't come from asking oppressors to recognize your humanity. It comes from building systems where their recognition is irrelevant. The journalist asks one follow-up question. Do you ever think about what your career would have looked like if you'd gotten that cover in 2003? Serena laughs. "I think about it all the time, and then I realize getting rejected was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to stop seeking validation from people who would never see me as enough. It pushed me to create my own definition of success, of beauty, of worth. If I'd gotten that cover, maybe I would have been satisfied. Maybe I would have thought, I've made it. They accept me now." And I would have spent my career trying to maintain that acceptance, trying to fit their mold. Instead, I broke the mold, and that's so much better. In 2023, Serena Williams retires from tennis. Her final match is played, her final trophy lifted, her statistical legacy secured, 23 Grand Slam singles titles, 319 weeks as world number 1, 4 Olympic gold medals, more prize money than any female athlete in history. But when they write her obituary someday, when they measure her full impact, the tennis will only be part of the story. Because Serena Williams changed what millions of people think beauty looks like. Walk through any magazine aisle today. Count the covers featuring black women, muscular women, women with natural hair, women who don't fit the traditional mold. You'll see dozens, hundreds over the course of a year. That wasn't true in 2003. It's true now because Serena Williams and women like her refuse to accept being called other, refuse to shrink, refuse to wait for permission. In 2024, a young black tennis player, 17 years old, ranked in the top 50, gets offered her first magazine cover. The editor tells her they want to feature her strength, her power, her natural beauty. In the interview, the girl is asked, "Who's your role model?" She doesn't hesitate. Serena Williams, not just because she won all those titles, because she taught me that I don't have to look like anyone else to be beautiful, that my body, exactly as it is powerful and worthy and enough. She taught me that when people say you're not cover material, you build your own magazine. The interviewer smiles. Did Serena actually build her own magazine? The girl shrugs. I don't know, but she built something better. She built a world where girls like me don't have to prove we're beautiful. We just are. That same week, a retrospective exhibit opens at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Body Politics, Beauty and Representation in the 21st Century. One entire wall is dedicated to magazine covers. The left side shows covers from 1990 to 2005. Almost uniformly thin, white, traditionally feminine. The right side shows covers from 2015, 2024. Race, size, gender presentation, ability. In the center, bridging the two eras, is the 2015 Vogue cover. Serena Williams in yellow. Taking up space, refusing to be other. The exhibit description reads, "This image represents a turning point, not because it was the first time a black woman appeared on this magazine's cover, but because it was the first time she appeared on her own terms. Powerful, unapologetic, defining beauty rather than conforming to it." A group of school children, mostly black and brown, stand in front of the wall. Their teacher asks, "Why do you think this matters? It's just magazine covers." One girl, maybe 12 years old, raises her hand. Because when you never see people who look like you represented as beautiful, you start to think maybe you're not beautiful, maybe you're wrong, maybe you need to change. But when you see someone like Serena Williams on the cover, someone who looks powerful and black and muscular and feminine all at once, you think, oh, I can be all those things too. I don't have to choose. I don't have to shrink. The teacher nods. What do you think Serena Williams would say to that? The girl thinks, probably that she's not special, that any of us can do it, that beauty isn't something you're given or denied, it's something you claim. Back in 2003, in that conference room, Catherine Ashworth said Serena Williams wasn't cover material. She was right, in a way. Serena Williams wasn't cover material for the world Catherine was trying to preserve, a world of narrow definitions and exclusive gatekeeping, a world where beauty meant one thing and one thing only. Serena Williams was cover material for the world that was coming, a world where beauty is expansive, diverse, powerful, a world where black women don't wait for permission, they take up space, they define terms, they build empires. 20 years after that rejection, Serena's face has appeared on more covers than almost any athlete in history. Not because she changed to fit their definition of beauty, because she changed their definition of beauty to include her. That's power. Not the power to be accepted, the power to make acceptance irrelevant. So here's the question. What are you waiting for permission to do? What room are you trying to gain entry to instead of building your own? What definition of success, beauty, or worth are you conforming to instead of creating? Because Serena Williams teaches us this, the best response to being told you're not enough isn't to prove them wrong. It's to build a world where their opinion doesn't matter. You're not cover material for someone else's magazine. Build your own empire.